I got this shed from AECOJOY. I believe that's how you say the name. That's just my best guess. It is a 4x14 shed with an open extension out here off the side. That is included in the 4x14. And then you have a 4x7-ish section for inside. I'm using it to store my firewood. Let's check it out. So as you can see, I'm storing some firewood here on the outside of the shed under the extension, the open end extension. And then of course the inside, I am storing some firewood related tools. I don't need a ton of space personally for firewood to be under a roof. Most of it can sit out in the open air because we get such little moisture here. So the size of this open end of the roof is perfect. If we get a good snowstorm or rainstorm in the wintertime, I'm able to have just enough dry firewood to get us through a week or two. And so it works perfect for a guy like me in the climate that I live in. So let's go ahead and take a look at the tools that I keep inside here. So here on the side where there is the most storage area, where there's not a large door, I keep some of my firewood tools. So just here on the shelf, you can see some of the things I've got. That Cobalt toolbox there holds all of my chainsaw related field tools essentially. And then of course some bar oil and things down there on the bottom shelf, some 2-stroke engine oil. On the next shelf, my Bauer chainsaw. In that bucket, I've got some other chainsaw related items like chainsaw shafts and so on. And then I've got a couple of chainsaws on the next shelf and a couple more chainsaws on the top shelf. So here inside the shed, you can see that there is some light coming through. I think that's fairly typical of these types of shed in a box style sheds. And it's not going to keep everything perfectly dry. I do have the intention of going around and maybe putting a little bit of silicone around the base of this thing to keep everything a little bit more dry. But as long as stuff's not sitting on the floor, the tools and things that you put up on a shelf are gonna stay nice and dry. So for now, because we're just starting to get into the off season of burning firewood, I've already moved out my kindling box and my ash bucket because burning firewood is gonna be pretty sporadic at this point. And then I keep all my spare chainsaw bars and chains labeled with which chainsaw they go to, and they're all hung up ready to go for the next time we go out and cut some firewood. So you can see that there's not necessarily a ton of storage space on this end. There's maybe 6 inches of wall that's actually over there that you can see, but you could definitely fit a shelf here because this door over here clips closed. They latch closed just like that, and they'll stay closed. So if you wanted to, you could easily fit a shelf here on this side. So this door that is swinging closed in the wind is the main door with the door latch that closes. And so you could definitely keep shelves and items and things on that side with the option of opening that other door, where this door in the center is going to be your main door. And so it's kind of a nice feature of it, I suppose, is that you have all that space where you could put shelves and things there that won't be in the way. And then of course you have this side that, you know, there will be nothing like a door to be in the way of getting stuff in and out. So you've got 2 doors should you need to put something large in there. To move on to the more review part of this video, more than just how I'm using the shed, talk about my experience installing it and just kind of my overall thoughts of it. So let's just start with some of the specs. It is claimed to be a 4x14 shed, which it is very, very close to that, but the actual dimensions are 46 inches wide here on the side by 163.5 inches long. So I measured that with a tape measure. So it's just a little bit shy of its claimed measurement, but really that's not that big of a deal. It's pretty dang close to what they're claiming. What I do have a little bit more of a grievance with when it comes to the dimensions claimed. They claim that this is a 4x8 interior section of this shed, and it's really far closer to 4x7.5. It's actually even a little bit shy of 7.5. None of that is really a deal breaker, but definitely something you should know before buying. Check the specs. If you want to get prepped to get this thing built, hopefully they have a user's manual online or something like that. I don't know. I just waited until it came. I put the frame that this is all built on together to know exactly what the dimensions were, measured them out, and then poured my concrete. I set this on concrete. You don't have to set it on concrete. Most people just build these things on wood. I live in a very windy area, and I don't want it blowing away, so I mounted this thing to concrete. It is overall fairly easy to assemble. Most of these sheds are. They've been making these things for, I don't know, years and years and years, and they've got them down to where they're engineered pretty well to stand up despite using very thin and light materials. It's really not difficult to assemble, but while you're assembling it, you might be concerned about the quality of it. But once it's all put together, the way they engineer these things is they're pretty solid. It's not gonna go anywhere as long as you mount it down to things correctly. I'll show you how I mounted it when I get through some of the things that I experienced while assembling it. So like I said, I assembled this thing on a concrete pad. I just poured a 2x4 concrete base for it. My suggestion would be, before you start building it, other than just this bottom silver rail that you can see down here that everything is built up on, I'd build that first. Then I'd build the base that you're putting it on, just like I did here. I built the metal frame at the bottom, and then I poured the concrete. Once the concrete was done drying, I then built the rest of the shed here. So that's what I would suggest doing. Now, even more ideally, you would build this thing on concrete going all the way across. I only did the concrete for the interior section just to save a little bit of money on concrete, because I think that was $100 worth of concrete alone. So the ease of assembly, it was very easy to put together. I did most of it by myself. I did end up having to have my wife help me on the end. And there's some pieces out here with the extension that you can't put together without a second person there. I mean, maybe you could figure out ways to, but it's just way easier to have a second person. Most of the interior portion is fairly easily put together just simply by yourself. The instructions were overall very clear. They walked you through step by step, great pictures, great diagrams and everything. You really don't need much to put it together. Obviously, to put together a base for this thing, you're probably gonna have to have a few other tools than what I'm gonna say you have to put it together here. But essentially, all you really have to put it together is a screwdriver, and then I used a nut driver that I also had. A screwdriver and a nut driver together. It went together very simply. Now, obviously, to mount this thing to concrete, I had a hammer drill, and I got some anchors and a hammer, and I pounded in the anchors and things like that. And then, of course, I'll show you this over here, how I mounted the extension of the ground. It took a few tools also to do that, but for the most part, for the overall assembly of this shed, depending on how you're gonna mount it to the ground, that's what's gonna vary. All you really need is just two little hand tools, and it all pretty much goes together fairly easily. I'm gonna just show you real quick how I mounted this exterior portion to the ground. So what I did was I just took a scrap piece of pressure treated wood that I've already got. I drilled 2 holes into it, and then I pounded some rebar and bent it over to hold it into place. Now, this is not the world's sturdiest and most ideal, admittedly, way to mount this thing. Like I said, running some concrete or running like a wooden floor base all the way to the end here and screwing those in would probably make more sense, but it worked for me, and it's gonna keep the thing from blowing away or twisting or having too many problems, without a doubt. So the pros and cons of this thing. Really, it's mostly just pros. It's extremely inexpensive. I don't remember the exact price of it. I think it's $320. The company did send it to me to make this video, and I was pretty thrilled about that because I was wanting a new Firewood shed. Is it the greatest shed in the world? Is it the most well-built thing in the world? Well, for these shed-in-a-box stuff, it's probably not really any different quality-wise than any of those, and I know plenty of people that are happy with them. This extension on here I think is cool. It's a great way to store some extra stuff. And for the price, like I said, 320 bucks. I don't know if you could beat it. You couldn't build something like this from the hardware store out of wood and sheet metal anywhere near that price. I don't think. It would be at least double. So excellent little shed. I think this is a definitely thumbs up for this shed, and if you want to pick it up, make sure you go down to the description below. There'll be a link in the description that you can pick it up. I believe they're on Amazon, and so there'll be an Amazon affiliate link there, and then if not, then there'll be some sort of link to their website that you can use to purchase this shed from. Thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video.